Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for week 2 of the 2016 NFL season. Well, let me get started. Well, the first game, I'm going to take the New York Jets on the road against the Buffalo Bills. The Jets showed a relentless pass rush last week in a loss to the Bengals. They did, however, register 7 sacks. On another note, it's interesting that defensive end Leonard Williams is the current NFL leader in sacks with 2.5 after 1 week of the season. But anyway, I just thought I was impressed by his performance. Now, Buffalo has had the Jets' number in recent time. They have defeated the New York Jets 5 consecutive times, and however, wide receiver Sammy Watkins may not play. Could play an integral role in the outcome of this game. We'll go on the limb a little bit and pick the Jets to end the Buffalo Bills streak against them. I like the Jets in this one. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers, okay, they're going to be without Le'Veon Bell again. I like what they did last week against Washington. Running back to Angelo Williams played very well. He rushed for over 140 yards. They'll be without Martavis Bryant once again. I believe he's suspended for the whole season. And however, Pittsburgh still has a plethora of weapons. I think they get this job done. Cincinnati, you always have a chance. You have cornerback Reggie Nelson, quarterback Andy Dalton, and A.J. Green right now is leading the NFL in receiving yards. So, and these two teams are very evenly matched. However, Pittsburgh is at home. I really do like them to win this game in a tight battle. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions at home over the Tennessee Titans. Now, Detroit Lions, really, to me, they superseded expectations last week, defeating the Indianapolis Colts. Put up 39 points against them. They had 4 players that had 4 or more receptions. The Tennessee Titans, I don't know what it is with them. They just have a proclivity to just find some way to lose. They had some turnovers in their game last week. And I mean, right now, Tennessee is 3-13 on the road over the last 2 seasons. The one thing in their favor is that they have had Detroit Lions' number in recent time. They have won 4 consecutive games against Detroit. Tennessee last season was number 7 in pass defense. Maybe they can make this game close with their cornerbacks, with their pass defense, but I still like Detroit to win this one. Now, the next game. Well, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens on the road over the Cleveland Browns. The Baltimore Ravens may not have that ravenous defense of old, but I still like them in this game. They've taken 3 of the last 4 from the Cleveland Browns. And interestingly enough, Baltimore right now, after 1 week, is number one in total defense in the NFL. Terrell Suggs is back, as I stated in the previous video. I do believe he will make a big impact on this team, and this team, I believe, will be better this season than last season. Cleveland Browns, however, I mean, they're just playing like an expansion team. This is a team right now, number 28 in total offense. They had the ball for under 21 minutes last week. That's not going to get it done. Their time of possession is going to have to improve, I believe, for them to have any chance to beat the Ravens in this game. The only thing in their favor is that this is a divisional opponent and they have the familiarity. I still like Baltimore to win in this one. Now, in the next game, I'm going to take the Washington Redskins at home to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Washington did not look impressive last week. However, this is a team that did go 6-2 at home last season, and they got all 9 of their wins last season came against teams that finished 500 or below. Well, guess what? Dallas comes into town. They're 0-1. I do like them in this one. The Dallas Cowboys put up 19 points last week. I think they may have to put up a little more to win this game at Washington. I don't know if they can do this. Dallas did not really awe me in that game against my G-men. Dak Prescott, he played adequately. If he's efficient in this game, Dallas does have a chance. They have Jason Wynn. They do have some weapons on offense as far as their receivers go. And Dallas actually committed no turnovers against the Giants. I thought that was impressive, but I still like Washington in this one. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the New York Giants at home to defeat the New Orleans Saints. Many of you may remember last season, New Orleans defeated the Giants, I think it was 52-49, and they put all kinds of offensive yardage up. I don't think we're going to see a score like that in this game. I think it'll be a lot less points because I think the Giants' defense has vastly improved. Now, New Orleans will put up some points in this game, but I think what's going to happen is the Giants' defense is going to be a little bit better than the Saints' offense in this particular game. This game is at New Jersey. I believe the game last season was at New Orleans, and that was only a 3-point win for the Saints. I think the Giants can turn the tables in this one and reverse that. I mean, the Saints' defense is deplorable, and I mean, to say the least. They gave up 167 rushing yards last week, and if they give up at least 120 to the Giants, which I think could very well happen, I do like the Giants to win this one. So I'm picking the Giants at home in this game. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers at home to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Carolina was 8-0 at home last season, and they were the number one scoring offense. They didn't look great in that game against Denver in the Super Bowl rematch last week, but I think they can redeem themselves against the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are 5-11 on the road over the last two seasons. Number 32 in scoring offense last season. They did look very good, but that was against the Rams last week. I think they're going to have a little more difficulty against the Carolina Panthers. I like the Panthers to win this one. Now, the next game, I like the New England Patriots to win at home over the Miami Dolphins. They may be without Brady and maybe without Gronkowski in this game, but the Patriots are 35-5 at home over the last 5 seasons, everything but invincible at home. The Patriots have this uncanny ability to improvise and be able to find ways to win, even when they're short-handed. And quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo was very efficient last week. Now with Miami, they do have that improved offensive line with Mario Williams. They played the Seahawks very well. They held the Seahawks last week to only 12 points. They may make this game competitive just on virtue of them being a divisional opponent to New England, and the fact that New England is undermanned in this game and their roster is a little bit depleted. But I still like New England to pull this one out, and I do like the Patriots to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs on the road to defeat the Houston Texans. Now, Kansas City, as many of you may know, throttled Houston last season 30-0 in that wild card playoff game. Houston will likely make the adjustments this season, and I mean in this game, and they will make this game a lot closer. With defensive end J.J. Watt, you always have a chance. Quarterback Brock Osweiler looked very good last week. I think he did a good job for Houston in their win over Chicago. But Kansas City is a team that's got I see them as a legitimate contender for the Super Bowl in the AFC, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers and New England Patriots. I think they're just the better personnel, and they have won 11 consecutive regular season games. I like them to make it 12 in this one. I'm taking the Chiefs on the road to win over Houston. Now, the next game, next thing is interesting. I was going back and forth on this between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. The Los Angeles Rams have played Seattle exceptionally well in recent years. They have taken 3 of the last 4 from Seattle, and they swept Seattle last season. Los Angeles did not really had a very abhorrent performance last week against the 49ers. They didn't put up any points. They lost 28-0, and they got shut out. But they're going to be a little bit rejuvenated being at home in this game. This will be their first game at this stadium. And I like Seattle to win, but I think Los Angeles is going to make this very close. Seattle quarterback, the status of Russell Wilson, quarterback for Seattle, his status is questionable. And even if he plays, it may mean he's not 100%. And this is going to be a road game. And keep in mind, Seattle only put up 12 points last week against the Miami Dolphins. Now they're going to go on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are going to be really amped up for this game, being at home. I know they put up a goose egg last week against the 49ers, but I think the Rams are actually going to turn around, make it a great game. I would not be flabbergasted or shocked if they actually beat Seattle in this game. I mean, but because their quarterback is not great on the Rams, I do like Seattle to win this one in a close one. I'm going to take Seattle with a close win on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to win at home over Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This series has actually been competitive. The last 7 times these teams have played, the game has been decided. Games have been decided by 7 points or less. However, I just don't see Arizona starting the season with 2 consecutive home losses. And they lost to the Patriots last week, but I think with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think it's safe to say they could get this win. They got Larry Fitzgerald on Arizona with Carson Palmer. Now, Jameis Winston, the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, since he came into the league last season, he has not played that bad. And I think the Bucs may make this a little more competitive than a lot of people may believe, but I still like Arizona to win this one at home. I think that you're going to see urgency from Arizona. It's going to be about redemption. They knew last week that was a game they should have had, but they let it get away from them, and I think they rebound and they get this win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Arizona at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the San Diego Chargers to win at home over the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was another game I was kind of ambivalent about. Jacksonville could be that sleeper team this year. They could surprise some teams, and San Diego is not exactly an upper echelon team. However, they have defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars, I believe, the last 5 times they played them. They beat them the last time they played them. And anyway, Jacksonville does have wide receiver Allen Robinson. They have quarterback Blake Bortles. This is a team that can make this game close. I mean, San Diego is no longer that perennial contender for a Super Bowl title. And Jacksonville obviously is cognizant and aware of this, and they know that they could actually go in. I believe they have the confidence to go into San Diego and beat them. However, San Diego is at home in this game. Their offense is just very powerful. Their defense is, and of course, last week, and that loss to Kansas City, that was basically emblematic of their season last season. And they in this particular game, you're going to might see a similar score, but in San Diego's favor, though, being at home. And I do like the Chargers to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders at home to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. Oakland is one of those teams this season. They might be one of the most improved teams in the league. Atlanta is only 3-6 since starting out 5-0 last season. So, or even it might even, I have not really gotten the full stat on that. I think Atlanta finished 8-8 last season. So I mean, they were a team. I mean, Atlanta I think the number is actually even lower than 3-6, what I just stated. So if Atlanta started out 5-0 last season, I believe they finished 8-8. They actually finished 3-8 last season, lost this past week, so I believe that would be 3-9. I'm sorry, I had to correct myself there to ramble a little bit, but I believe that Atlanta is 3-9 in their last 12 games, starting after they started out on that 5-0 flourish. So this is a team that really has not looked very impressive in recent time. The Atlanta Falcons were another team that looked like they were a perennial contender for the Super Bowl, and they're not anymore. They have plummeted. Oakland is at home. Oakland, I know they keep putting the stat up about them being like 2-15 in the last 17 against NFC opponents, but I think that's going to improve to 3-15. This is a much better Raiders team than it had been in some years prior to this season. So I do like the Raiders to prevail at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos at home over the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we're going to look at Denver. Okay, I understand they don't have Peyton Manning anymore, but they did have Trevor Siemian played adequate last week. And really, you had a good defensive performance by Denver. They came through in the clutch at the end when they had to. They made the big plays when it was necessary. And this is almost similar to how they played last season. That one game they beat Carolina last week was almost emblematic of their season last season. So maybe Denver can be a little bit better than people think. I don't know if they can win the division, but I think they're good. They may be good enough to at least get in the playoffs and get a wild card this season. Now you look at Indianapolis. It's funny, a lot of people thought, okay, well, they're going to get Andrew Luck back, that this means this team is going to significantly improve. Well, anyway, with the Colts last season, the Colts were actually 6-3 last season without Andrew Luck. And what happens? They lose to Detroit in the first game of the season this year in 2016 with Andrew Luck. So I think when I look at this is a team. The Indianapolis Colts seem like they've declined a little. They've taken a little bit of a step back. And really, we're going to see what the Colts are made of in this game. Denver wants to avenge a 27-24 loss they had to the Colts last season, and I think they will do this. That game was at Indy in that one. Now this game is going to be at Denver, and I believe Denver will win this one in a tight battle. So I like the Denver Broncos at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. This will be a dandy, I think. I mean, you got two of these teams have Super Bowl aspirations. I know Minnesota does not have Teddy Bridgewater, but their quarterback last week did a really solid job for them in getting that win over the Tennessee Titans. Green Bay is 5-1 in the last 6 at Minnesota. They've actually played exceptionally well at Minnesota. Minnesota is a team, as I stated before, they have the Super Bowl aspirations. They are going to be at home. They're going to have running back Adrian Peterson. I think this is a really could be the best game of the week, this coming up in week 2. And I see Green Bay, though, winning this in a close one. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to perform better in this game than really. The offense is going to be more improved than it was last season. They'll have wide receiver Jordy Nelson. They split the games last season, as many of you may know, Minnesota and Green Bay. But a lot of that loss, you have to remember, that was without wide receiver Jordy Nelson. They'll have him in this game. I think that'll make the difference. I like Green Bay to win at home. Now, last but not least, I like the Chicago Bears to win at home over the Philadelphia Eagles. Neither one of these teams I really see are exactly exceptional. However, you look at Chicago, Terrell Freeman. Interestingly enough, he's tied for the league in tackles right now at 17 at this point. I mean, maybe that's one of the few bright spots for them at this point in time. I think, too, Chicago was number 4 in pass defense last season, and I think the pass defense will be better in this game than it was against Houston. And really, Philadelphia, okay, their quarterback, it's Carson Wentz played very well last week, but that was against the Cleveland Browns, and a lot of people can look superlative against the Cleveland Browns. So I don't think that he's going to be able to replicate that in this game against the Chicago Bears. I think Jay Cutler will be more efficient in this game, and they are at home. So I do like the Bears to win this one at home. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for my Week 2 picks and analysis for the 2016 NFL season. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.